Can you see the slide, section B?
Yes po.
Gumalaw ba?
Opo.
Okay, sige. Okay, so this morning we will be talking about the thyroid gland. As mentioned in our previous lecture, it is a purely endocrine gland because its primary or only function is endocrine, and that is to secrete hormones. Okay? Now look on the right side of the screen. Now the thyroid gland is described as a butterfly-shaped organ that is located at the anterior part of the neck. The exact location is, now look on the left upper part of the screen. Anterior part of the neck, in front and on either side of the trachea. Now, the gland is divided into two lobes, right and left. And the two lobes are joined by a midline isthmus, which is approximately at the level of the cricoid cartilage. Now, in the normal adult, the gland weighs about 10 to 25 grams. And normally, the gland is not palpable. Hindi nakakapa. Bakit? Because the consistency of the thyroid gland is the same as that of the neck muscles. So once makapanyo yung thyroid gland, isa lang ibig sabihin nun, it is already enlarged. Okay? So for example, there is a mass or an enlargement at the anterior part of the neck. How would you examine it to determine if it is the thyroid tissue? Can you see me, section B? Nakikita nyo ako?
Yes,
okay,
po.
para examinin if there is an enlargement or a mass at the anterior part of the neck, you as an examiner can stand either beside or at the back of the patient. If you are standing beside the patient, you put your fingers like this at the anterior part of the patient's neck, pag ganyan. But if you are standing behind, ang position ng fingers nyo, ganyan. Okay? So with your fingers placed at the anterior part of the patient's neck, you ask the patient to swallow, lulunok. If the mass will move up during swallowing, that means it is the thyroid gland. So why will the thyroid gland move up during swallowing? Because it has an embryonic connection with the posterior part of the tongue. And we call that the thyroglossal duct. And this thyroglossal duct may persist even in adults. Okay? Now, behind the thyroid gland is the recurrent laryngeal nerve. So when the thyroid gland enlarges, it may compress the recurrent laryngeal nerve, and that will cause the patient to develop hoarseness or pamamalat. Also, partly embedded behind the thyroid are the four parathyroid glands that secrete the parathyroid hormone. Again, as mentioned in our previous lecture, PTH is a hypercalcemic agent. Its main action is to increase the plasma calcium level. So for example, meron kayong pasyente na hyperthyroid who will undergo surgery. The procedure is called thyroidectomy that will involve removal of a part of the thyroid if it is total or the entire thyroid if it is total. Halimbawa, nag-thyroidectomy yung pasyente. After the procedure, the patient developed spasm of the muscles of the face and extremities, followed by spasm of the muscles of the trunk. So nagkaroon siya ng hypocalcemia. So anong nangyari doon sa pasyente? The parathyroid glands were accidentally removed together with the thyroid. So nagkaroon siya ng hypoparathyroidism, kaya nagkaroon ng hypocalcemia, kaya nagkaroon ng spasm. Or, if during thyroidectomy, blood supply to the parathyroid glands is compromised, that will again cause hypoparathyroidism and hypocalcemia. So a common complication of thyroidectomy is hypoparathyroidism, and hypocalcemia. Okay? Now, the thyroid gland is a well-vascularized gland. Blood supply comes from the superior and inferior thyroid arteries. And blood flow to the gland averages 5 ml per gram per minute. 5 ml per gram per minute. Ngayon, sa mga pasyenteng may hyperthyroidism, so increase ang activity ng thyroid, blood flow to the gland also increases. So that when you place the bell of the stethoscope at the anterior part of the neck, you can actually hear blood flow to the gland. And that is an abnormal sound, which we call bruit or B-R-U-I-T. Okay? Now look on the left lower part of the screen. The functional unit of the thyroid gland is the thyroid follicle. And the thyroid follicle is made up of one layer of epithelial or follicular cells. And these follicular cells secrete the thyroid hormones T3 and T4. At the center or at the lumen of the follicle is the colloid, whose main component is thyroglobulin. And the function of the thyroglobulin molecule is to bind and to temporarily store newly synthesized thyroid hormones. So again, you have the follicular cells for secretion of T3 and T4, the colloid, which contains the thyroglobulin molecule for storage of newly synthesized thyroid hormones. Okay? Now look on the right side of the screen. So these are the thyroid follicles. And this is how they will look like if the gland is inactive or when the gland is active. Tingnan nyo yung follicle on the far right. That is how it looks like when the gland is inactive. So anong characteristics? The follicle is larger. The follicular cells are flat and there is more abundant colloid. Okay? To the left, itong nasa gitna actually, is how the follicle looks like when the gland is active. Ano nangyari? The follicle is now smaller, but the follicular cells are taller or columnar, and there is less abundant colloid. So iba ang itsura ng follicle pagka-active at saka inactive ang thyroid. Now go back to the picture on the lower left. Outside of the follicles but still in the thyroid tissue are the C cells, clear cells, or what we call parafollicular cells. And these cells secrete calcitonin, which is a physiologic antagonist of PTH. So calcitonin is a hypocalcemic agent. Okay? So you will be talking about calcitonin, PTH, how they regulate calcium and phosphate metabolism later in your second session this morning at 10 o'clock with Dr. Mendoza. So our main concern for today, yung ating first session, will be the thyroid hormones T3 and T4. Any questions, section B, up to this point?
Wala
None.
po.
Wala. Hi, Stephen. Nakita rin kita. Okay. So let us now go to biosynthesis of thyroid hormones. First, an important prerequisite in the biosynthesis of thyroid hormones is iodides. Okay? The main source of iodide is dietary. Seafood, iodized salt, iodinated bread, iodinated water. But aside from dietary, iodides may also come from medications as well as X-ray contrast materials. But then again, the main source is dietary. In industrialized countries like the US, a balanced diet can provide an individual with about 400 micrograms of iodides per day. But the minimum requirement is only 150 micrograms of iodides per day. And ilan ang kailangan for normal thyroid hormone synthesis? Only 70 to 80 micrograms per day. Okay? So saan napupunta yung iodides? So yung iba will be taken up by the thyroid gland. Yan na nga yung 70 to 80 micrograms. Yung iba may excrete mainly sa urine. Yung iba may excrete sa stool. Yung iba naman will be taken up by other cells or glands in the body. So that means to say, although most of the iodides will be taken up by the thyroid gland, there are other cells, other glands that can take up iodides. At ano-ano ito? Number 1, salivary glands. Number 2, gastric glands. Number 3, lacrimal glands. Next, mammary glands, choroid plexus, placenta during pregnancy. So I repeat, no? Other cells, other glands that can take up iodides in addition to the thyroid. So you have the salivary glands, gastric glands, lacrimal glands, mammary glands, choroid plexus, and placenta. But take note, although these other cells, these other glands can take up iodides, they do not synthesize thyroid hormones because they are not stimulated by TSH. Okay? Ngayon, tumingin kayo sa picture. Ano ba yan? That is the follicular cell. Now, dalawa ang border ng follicular cell. Basolateral, apical. Now, the basolateral border or membrane separates the follicular cell from the plasma or circulating blood, and that is on the left side. Pag tumingin kayo sa right, that is now the apical membrane that will separate the follicular cell from the lumen of the follicle. Okay? And if we are talking about biosynthesis, our direction is from left to right. So from basolateral to apical, papasok sa lumen. Clear? Okay, now, the first step in the biosynthesis of thyroid hormones is called iodide uptake or iodide trapping. So this will involve active transport of iodides from the plasma to the follicular cell across the basolateral membrane. So papasok siya from plasma to follicular cell. And this is secondary active transport. Alin ang primary? Yung paring sodium-potassium ATPase that will pump 3 sodium ions out in exchange for 2 potassium ions pumped into the cell, creating a concentration gradient for sodium. Marami sa labas, kokonti sa loob. And this concentration gradient for sodium will fuel the activity of a carrier protein. And that carrier protein is called NIS or sodium iodide symporter. Sodium iodide symporter. At anong ginagawa niya? This carrier protein will transport 1 iodide uphill, that is into, papasok sa follicular cell, and 2 sodium ions downhill, also papasok sa follicular cell. Kaya symport in the same direction. Yung iodide uphill, kasi talagang marami ng iodide sa loob ng follicular cell. Ang sodium downhill. So that is secondary active transport. And this NIS therefore is energy dependent and sodium dependent. Okay? Now, there are some anions that compete with iodides for binding with NIS. Ano-anong anions yan? You have nitrate, thiocyanate, perchlorate. Since these anions compete with iodides for binding with NIS, in some cases of hyperthyroidism, they can be utilized as anti-thyroid drugs because they can block the first step in the biosynthesis of thyroid hormones. Okay? So nakapasok na yung iodide sa follicular cell. Ngayon, tatawirin niya yung apical membrane para makapasok siya sa lumen. And to cross the apical membrane, there is another carrier protein that will transport iodides. And this carrier protein is called pendrin, Pendrin. And pendrin is actually an iodide chloride counter transporter. So it is no longer dependent on sodium. So nakapasok na yung iodide ngayon sa lumen. Now, parallel to the transport of iodides, the follicular cells synthesize a large glycoprotein molecule which is called thyroglobulin. Now, this thyroglobulin is made up of many amino acid residues, most of which are tyrosine residues. After synthesis, this thyroglobulin molecule together with an enzyme that is TPO or thyroid peroxidase are packaged together in secretory vesicles and by exocytosis are also released into the lumen. So by this time, nasa lumen na, nakatawid na ng apical membrane ang iodide, thyroglobulin, peroxidase. Okay? Naintindihan ba section B? Okay, next step is oxidation. This time, iodides are converted to iodine. And this reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme peroxidase. The third step is called organification, wherein the tyrosine component of the thyroglobulin molecule binds with iodine to produce two types of thyroid hormones which we call iodotyrosines. May typographical error lang yan, dapat walang H. It should be iodotyrosine. Okay? And we have two types of iodotyrosines. MIT or monoiodotyrosine, and the other one is DIT or diiodotyrosine. And this reaction is catalyzed again by the enzyme peroxidase and iodinase. Okay? Now, the fourth step is called coupling, wherein two other thyroid hormones are synthesized, and this time, they are called iodothyronines. When one molecule of MIT couples with one molecule of DIT, this will produce T3 or triiodothyronine. And when two molecules of DIT couple, this will produce T4 or tetraiodothyronine or thyroxine. And again, this step is catalyzed by the enzyme peroxidase. So that means all in all, we have four types of thyroid hormones. Two are iodotyrosines, the other two are iodothyronines. But as you can see here, yung dalawang iodotyrosine, MIT and DIT, ginagamit lang sila to produce T3 and T4. So MIT and DIT are actually considered as pro-hormones. They are not active hormones. Okay? Now, speaking of the enzyme TPO or thyroid peroxidase, it catalyzes 3 of the 4 steps in the biosynthesis of thyroid hormones, and these are oxidation, organification, and coupling. Okay? Okay, next. After synthesis, thyroid hormones can be stored temporarily in the colloid bound to the thyroglobulin molecule. How much thyroid hormones can be stored in the colloid? Now, the amount that can be stored can supply the body with thyroid hormones for 2 to 3 months. So that, pag nagkaroon ng disorder, problema sa thyroid gland that will cause hypothyroidism, the manifestations of hypothyroidism are not immediately observed. Bakit? Kasi meron pa namang thyroid hormone na naka-store sa gland, again, that can supply the body with thyroid hormones for 2 to 3 months. Okay? Upon stimulation, what now are the steps involved in the release of thyroid hormones? Now, by the way, if we are talking about biosynthesis, ang sabi ko nga ang direction natin left to right, basolateral to apical. Pag naman release, opposite direction tayo, right to left, apical to basolateral para ma-release sa circulating blood. Okay? So the first step here is the cells in the apical membrane will grow surface processes or what we call pseudopods that will enclose the colloid, enabling these cells in the apical membrane to engulf the colloid. So there will be endocytosis of the colloid by the cells in the apical membrane so that lahat ng thyroid hormones bound to thyroglobulin babalik sa loob ng follicular cell. Okay? So still bound to thyroglobulin. Now look at the picture at the bottom. Inside the follicular cell are several proteases that will cause breakdown or proteolysis of the thyroglobulin molecule. Pag nasira na yung thyroglobulin, that will set free T3, T4, at ang mga natirang MIT and DIT. Free because they are no longer bound to the thyroglobulin molecule. Now, another enzyme inside the follicular cell, sa bandang taas, you have tyrosine deiodinase. Pag deiodinase kasi nagtatanggal ng iodine. Okay? At anong gagawin nitong tyrosine deiodinase? That will cause deiodination of the iodotyrosines, MIT and DIT. At pag natanggalan sila ng iodine, ano mangyayari doon sa iodine? Naka-store lang yan sa loob ng follicular cell. To be used again or to be recycled. So gagamitin uli sila for the synthesis of new thyroid hormones. Kaya sabi ko nga kanina, marami talagang iodine or iodide sa loob ng follicular cell. Okay? So ibig sabihin, itong MIT and DIT, they function as prohormones. They are needed to synthesize T3 and T4 at the same time. They are not released into the circulating blood because they undergo deiodination while still in the follicular cells. So that the only active hormones released by exocytosis into the circulating blood are the two types of iodothyronines, T3 and T4. Okay? Naintindihan ba? Section B. Si Stephen lang ata ang tumatango. Naintindihan? Okay, sige. So we continue. Of the total amount of circulating thyroid hormones, 95% is T4, only 5% is T3. However, when T4 reaches the peripheral target tissues, they are converted either to T3 or reverse T3. Reverse T3 is inactive. So how is T4 converted to T3 and reverse T3? The process is deiodination. So tatanggalan uli ng iodine. At para magkaroon ng deiodination, mangangailangan ng tatlong enzymes. Type 1 deiodinase, type 2 deiodinase, and type 3 deiodinase. Okay. Ano itong type 1 deiodinase? Now, this is present in highly metabolizing cells or tissues that will include the liver, kidney, muscle, even the thyroid gland. So in these actively metabolizing cells or tissues, T4 is converted to T3 catalyzed by type 1 deiodinase. Okay? And the amount of type 1 deiodinase is increased in hyperthyroidism. Next, type 2 deiodinase is present in the brain. And it is needed to maintain normal levels of T3 in the brain. And the amount of type 2 deiodinase is increased in hypothyroidism. Now, type 3 The iodinase is present in many target cells of the thyroid hormones. Ang tawag kasi sa type 1, inactivating enzyme. Bakit? Because it converts T4 to reverse T3, which is inactive. It converts T3 to T2, which is also inactive. Kaya ang tawag sa type 1 deiodinase, inactivating enzyme. Okay? Now, of the total amount of circulating T3, only 20% actually comes from the thyroid gland. So most of the circulating T3 will come from peripheral conversion of T4. In the circulating blood, 99% of the thyroid hormones is protein-bound. Less than 1% is free. Remember that protein binding prolongs the plasma half-life of a hormone. Since maraming protein-bound na thyroid hormones, mahaba ang kanilang plasma half-life. Remember also that a protein-bound hormone is biologically inactive. It is the free hormone that is biologically active. So what now are these plasma proteins that bind the thyroid hormones? Number 1 is TBG, that is thyroid hormone binding globulin. Hindi thyroxine ha, thyroid hormone binding globulin. This protein is present with the lowest concentration in the plasma, but it has the highest affinity for thyroid hormones. And it binds more of T4 than T3. Next, thyroxine binding pre-albumin or transthyretin. Thyroxine binding pre-albumin, another name is transthyretin. It binds only T4. Protein with the highest concentration in the plasma with the lowest affinity for thyroid hormones is albumin, and it binds little of T3 and T4. So sa makikita nyo dito, mas marami ang protein-bound na T4 kesa T3. So mas marami ang free na T3 kesa T4. Dahil mas maraming protein-bound na T4 kesa T3, mas mahaba ang plasma half-life ng T4 kesa T3. But dahil mas maraming free na T3 kesa T4, that means in terms of biologic activity or potency, T3 is more active, it is more potent than T4. Okay? And when we talk later on about the negative feedback control system that exists in the thyroid gland, yung negative feedback is exerted mainly by excess free T3 than T4. Kasi mas marami nga ang free na T3 kesa T4. Okay? Clear ba up to this point, section B?
Yes po.
Ayun, may sumagot. Okay, so we continue. Now we go to mechanisms that regulate thyroid hormone secretion. Remember that the main mechanism that regulates the activities of the thyroid gland is an indirect nervous control mechanism, or what we call hypothalamic hypophyseal thyroid gland axis or endocrine axis. Okay? So paano nangyayari yan? Cold temperature or stress may stimulate the hypothalamus to secrete the thyrotropin-releasing hormone, which stimulates the thyrotropes in the anterior pituitary gland to secrete the thyroid-stimulating hormone or TSH, which in turn will stimulate the follicular cells of the thyroid gland to secrete T3 and T4. Okay? So sabi natin ulit, kung meron TRH, meron TSH, meron ding T3 and T4. Kung walang TRH, walang TSH, wala din ang T3 and T4. So TRH and TSH regulate the secretion of T3 and T4. On the other hand, T3 and T4 can also regulate the secretion of TRH and TSH. How? By exerting a direct negative feedback effect. That is, if there is excess free T3 and T4, the anterior pit is inhibited, the hypothalamus is inhibited. So TRH will decrease, TSH will decrease. Pag decrease nitong dalawa, what will happen to T3 and T4? Magdi-decrease siya back to normal. Kasi kanina, sobra siya sa normal. Kung back to normal na siya o below normal, walang negative feedback. Okay? Now, what now are the specific actions of TSH on the thyroid gland? Number one, remember that TSH is a trophic hormone. Therefore, it can stimulate growth of the thyroid gland by increasing the number and size of the follicular cells. At the same time, TSH increases the function of the thyroid gland by stimulating almost all the steps involved in the biosynthesis and release of thyroid hormones: iodine uptake, oxidation, organification, coupling, endocytosis, proteolysis of the thyroglobulin molecule, eventual release of T3 and T4 into the circulating blood. Lahat yan is stimulated by TSH. Pero lahat din yan, halos lahat sila, including number one, it will take several days or several weeks para mangyari. So that if there is an immediate need for the thyroid hormones, what now are the most immediate or rapid actions of TSH on the gland? Dalawa. Number one is to increase proteolysis of the thyroglobulin molecule. And number two is to increase the release of T3 and T4. Increase proteolysis, increase release. Yan yung pinakamabilis na action ng TSH sa thyroid gland. Okay? Ngayon, this is the main mechanism that regulates thyroid gland activities. But there is another mechanism that can regulate thyroid gland activities, and we call this autoregulation. Meaning to say, the thyroid gland itself will regulate its own activities, this time independent of TSH, but dependent on the availability of iodides. Independent of TSH, pero dependent sa iodides. Okay? So, anong mangyayari? So, we all know that iodides are needed to synthesize thyroid hormones. So, pag decrease ang iodides, decrease ang thyroid hormone synthesis. Ano mangyayari kung sobra naman dami ng iodides? Expected din natin, increase ang thyroid hormone synthesis. Pero hindi yun nangyayari. Kasi nga meron tayong auto-regulation. So if there is excess iodides in the follicular cells, this inhibits the enzyme peroxidase. So inhibited ang organification, inhibited ang coupling, therefore decrease ang thyroid hormone synthesis. So pag increase iodides, decrease ang thyroid hormone synthesis, which will persist for several days. Yan na ngayon yung tinatawag nating Wolff-Chaikoff effect. WOLF-CHAIKOFF. Wolff-Chaikoff effect. So kung several days na na-decrease ang thyroid hormone synthesis, ano nangyayari? Ma-activate na uli yung peroxidase so that thyroid hormone synthesis will now resume. Okay? Ito naman yung Wolff-Chaikoff escape. So under autoregulation, meron kang Wolff-Chaikoff effect, meron kang Wolff-Chaikoff escape. And remember that this mechanism occurs independent of TSH, but dependent on the availability of iodides, mainly kung napakaraming iodides, para hindi sumobra ang thyroid hormone synthesis. Clear? Okay, now, mechanism of action. So these thyroid hormones are biogenic amines. They are actively transported across the membrane of the target cell and bind with nuclear receptors to stimulate DNA synthesis. So thyroid hormones are gene stimulators just like the steroid hormones. So this leads to the formation of messenger RNAs that will now direct the synthesis as well as activity of many intracellular metabolic enzymes, including the sodium-potassium ATPase. Okay? Now, remember that thyroid hormones are general hormones. So they have these effects on almost all cells in the body. So increase intracellular metabolism. Anong consequence nun? The more actively metabolizing the cells are, the more they consume oxygen. So increase ang oxygen consumption. The more actively metabolizing the cells are, the more they produce heat as well as carbon dioxide. So increase oxygen consumption, increase heat production, increase carbon dioxide production. And since ganyan ang effect niya sa halos lahat ng cells sa katawan, so ang net effect ng T3 and T4 is to increase the body's basal metabolic rate o yung tinatawag nating BMR. Okay? So ngayon, isa-isahin natin. What are the biologic or physiologic actions of thyroid hormones on the different organ systems in the body? We start with children, wherein thyroid hormones are needed to stimulate both physical and mental growth. We start with physical growth. Now, in relation to physical growth, thyroid hormones have a greater effect on skeletal rather than soft tissue growth. And that will differentiate the thyroid hormone from growth hormone. Kasi ang growth hormone equal ang effect niya sa skeletal and soft tissue growth. Ang thyroid mas skeletal kesa soft tissue. So that if there is congenital hypothyroidism or what we call cretinism, this will produce a hypothyroid dwarf with physical retardation. So anong itsura niya? Short stature, pwedeng short limbs, pero malaki ang tiyan, malaki ang tongue. Bakit? Because only the bones fail to grow, but the soft tissues continue to grow. So a hypothyroid dwarf is a non-proportional type of dwarfism. On the other hand, sabi natin ang growth hormone equal ang effect sa bone at soft tissue. So that if there is growth hormone deficiency, that will produce a pituitary dwarf proportional. Both the bones and soft tissues fail to grow. I do not know if you have a picture of a pituitary dwarf with your lecture on the pituitary gland kay Dr. Magpale. Makikita nyo kasi ang pituitary dwarf habang bata, hindi nyo nga mapansin. Kasi proportional. Pero habang nagkakaedad, makikita nyo, hindi siya tumatangkad o mabagal ang pagtangkad. Tsaka pa lang nyo malalaman na meron siyang pituitary dwarfism. Ang hypothyroid, pagkapanganak pa lang, makikita nyo na. Kasi nga iba itsura niya. Malaki tiyan, malaki dila, maigsi ang limbs. Tapos, ayun, may physical retardation. Now, can this physical retardation be corrected? Yes. If the condition is diagnosed and treated before closure of the epiphyseal plates of the long bones, so before the age of puberty. Eh, paano nyo malalaman? So halimbawa, sa nursery, may bagong kapakanak na bata. So sabi ko nga, malaki ang tiyan, maiksi ang limbs, yung dila hindi maipasok sa bibig kasi malaki. So pwede kayong mag-suspect ng congenital hypothyroidism, aided by laboratory diagnosis or examination pag na-confirm. Ano bang treatment sa hypo? Diba pag endo, pag may hormone deficiency, magbigay ng hormone. So thyroid hormone therapy before puberty to correct the physical retardation. Okay? What about mental growth? Now, thyroid hormones are needed for the normal development of the brain in children. So that if you have a hypothyroid dwarf, meron siyang mental retardation. Another difference naman, sa pituitary dwarf na walang mental retardation. Okay? Can this mental retardation be corrected? Again, yes, if the condition is diagnosed and treated this time earlier. Bago pa lang mag 6 months old yung baby, dapat mag-thyroid hormone therapy na. Otherwise, pag lumampas dyan, the mental retardation will become permanent. Okay? Now, again sa lecture ng pituitary, if you recall, there are actually hormones that are needed to stimulate human growth. At iba-iba, edad, yung kanilang importance. Yung thyroid hormones are needed to stimulate human growth as early as during fetal life. So yung tao nasa sinapupunan pa lang ng nanay, kailangan na ng thyroid hormones to stimulate physical and mental growth. Ang growth hormone kailangan after birth. Estrogen and androgens are kailangan during puberty. So these are the hormones that are needed to stimulate human growth. Iba't ibang age ang importansya nila to stimulate human growth. Okay? Now we go to adults. So what are the actions of thyroid hormones on the central nervous system? So thyroid hormones stimulate cerebration, activity of the cortex, synaptic transmission, nerve myelinization. So what now are the clinical manifestations of hyperthyroidism in relation to the CNS? Number 1, a hyperthyroid patient is hyperkinetic. Yan yung tipo ng taong hindi mapakali, hindi mo maiwan sa isang tabi kasi galaw siya ng galaw. Lahat ng gawin niya, mabilis. Mabilis magsalita, mabilis gumalaw, mabilis maglakad. Hyperkinesia. Number 2, insomnia, hirap makatulog. Increase anxiety or nervousness, palaging kinakabahan. So nakikita nyo ako, if you ask the patient to put his arms forward, and then you place a paper on top of the fingers, you will be able to observe fine finger tremors. So that is in hyperthyroidism. Baliktarin natin. What are the clinical manifestations now of hypothyroidism in relation to the CNS? So this time, a hypothyroid patient is hypokinetic. Para palaging tamad. Ang bagal gumalaw, ang bagal magsalita, ang bagal maglakad. Somnolence or drowsiness, palaging inaantok. Poor memory, poor mental ability, low IQ, in other words, BOBO. Sana walang natamaan. Okay, next. This time, what are the actions of, kung nabuhayan kayo sa BOBO? The thyroid hormones on the cardiovascular system, the mere fact that you are in the second SEM, in your medical course, first year, so walang hypothyroid sa inyo. O kung meron man, siguro nagme-medication na. Okay. Thyroid hormones directly stimulate the SA node, increasing the heart rate. Thyroid hormones directly stimulate myocardial contractility, increasing the stroke volume. Remember cardiodynamics. An increase in heart rate and stroke volume will increase the cardiac output so that hyperthyroid patients are prone to high cardiac output failure. Okay? An increase in cardiac output increases systolic pressure. At the same time, because of increased heat production by the cells, there will be vasodilatation, decreased total peripheral resistance, decreased diastolic pressure. So what are the clinical manifestations of hyperthyroidism in relation to the CVS? Number 1 is tachycardia, palpitations, and a wide pulse pressure. Why? Kasi increase sa systolic, decrease ang diastolic. In contrast, there is bradycardia in hypothyroidism. Okay? Next, Thyroid hormones increase gastrointestinal motility, secretion, absorption. So that in hyperthyroidism, there is persistent diarrhea. In hypothyroidism, there is chronic constipation. On the hematopoietic system, because of increased intracellular metabolism, increased oxygen consumption, that will decrease the partial pressure of oxygen in the blood, which will now stimulate RBC production. On the respiratory system, again, because of increased intracellular metabolism, oxygen consumption, carbon dioxide production in the blood, magdi-decrease ang PO2, mag-i-increase ang PCO2, which will now stimulate chemoreceptors, sending impulses, increasing the activity of the respiratory center. Okay? Thyroid hormones can also increase the metabolism and clearance of the other endocrine hormones in the body. In the bones, thyroid hormones increase both bone formation and resorption normally. But in hyperthyroidism, resorption becomes greater than formation. In hypothyroidism, parehong decrease. So I repeat, if it is hyper, more resorption than formation. If it is hypo, pareho silang decrease. As to the effects of thyroid hormones on the muscle, it has something to do with protein metabolism. If there is a normal or physiologic dose of thyroid hormones, the effect is anabolic and that will increase muscle strength. But in hyperthyroidism, the effect becomes catabolic, so that will cause muscle weakness. In hypothyroidism, there is decreased protein synthesis and that will again decrease muscle strength. So whether hyper or hypo, humihina ang muscle. Magkaiba lang ng mechanism. Pag hyper, protein catabolism. Pag hypo, decreased protein synthesis. So para maging anabolic at lumakas ang muscle, dapat normal or physiologic dose ng thyroid hormones. Okay? In the skin, in hyperthyroidism, there is heat intolerance, increased sweating. Sobrang mainitin, sobrang pawisin. Kabaliktaran pag hypothyroid. Cold intolerance and the skin is dry. Lamigin na naman. Ito again has something to do with increase at saka decreased metabolism. Ganon din sa body weight. In hyperthyroidism, there is weight loss in spite of an increase in appetite. Yan yung alakas kumain, kain ng kain pero hindi tumataba, payat pa rin. Kabaliktaran naman pag hypo, wala nang ang appetite, increase pa ang body weight. Again, it has something to do with metabolism. Okay? Thyroid hormones can affect all aspects of carbohydrate metabolism. That will include increased glucose uptake by the cells, increased peripheral utilization of glucose, but at the same time, increased gluconeogenesis, increased glycogenolysis. Also, thyroid hormones can affect all aspects of fat metabolism, including both lipolysis and lipogenesis, but more of lipolysis. Same thing with cholesterol degradation and synthesis, more of degradation. So kailan ka magkakaroon ng hypercholesterolemia? Pag hyperthyroid, hypothyroid. Ulitin ko ha. Thyroid hormones can increase both cholesterol synthesis and degradation, but more of degradation. Kailan ka magkakaroon ng hypercholesterolemia? Hyperthyroid, hypothyroid?
Hypothyroid po.
Hypothyroid. Protein metabolism na banggit na natin. Kailangan normal ang dose para anabolic. Pag hyper, catabolic. Pag hypo, decrease synthesis. Okay? Now, in hyperthyroidism, because of increased intracellular metabolism, there is a greater need for vitamins in the body. In addition, thyroid hormones are needed to convert carotene to vitamin A in the liver. Kailan ka magkakaroon ng carotenemia? Hyperthyroid, hypothyroid?
Hypothyroid.
Hypothyroid. And finally, thyroid hormones can stimulate the adrenal medulla to increase the release of the catecholamines, epinephrine, and norepinephrine, reinforcing sympathetic adrenergic effects. Okay? Now, as you can see here, halos lahat ng organ systems may action ang thyroid hormones. Kaya nga sila ay general hormones. At madaling matandaan ang action nila kasi almost all increase stimulatory. Dalawa lang ang exception. Kung saan walang action ang thyroid hormone. Sa spleen and lens of the eye. Okay? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, no? What is the role of the autonomic nervous system in regulating thyroid gland function? Wala. Because remember, ang thyroid gland function regulated by the endocrine axis at saka autoregulation. So ang role lang ng autonomics, particularly yung sympathetic nervous system, is to regulate blood flow to the gland. At ang effect ng sympathetic stimulation is vasoconstriction. So magdi-decrease ang blood flow to the gland. Okay? So any questions with regards to the biologic actions of thyroid hormones? Wala, Stephen? Okay, so we continue. Now we go to thyroid disorders, and there are two types. One will involve the size of the gland. An enlarged thyroid gland is called goiter or thyromegaly. The other one will involve the function of the gland. So if you have a hyper-functioning gland, that is hyperthyroidism. A hypo-functioning gland is hypothyroidism. Okay? Now, an enlarged gland may coexist with hyperthyroidism. Euthyroid is normally functioning. And a hypothyroidism. Now, if the gland is enlarged, at the same time it is hyper-functioning, that is what we call toxic goiter. If the gland is enlarged but it is normally functioning or hypo-functioning, that is what we call non-toxic goiter. Okay? Grossly, if the entire gland is enlarged, that is what we call diffuse goiter. So generalized enlargement of the gland, diffuse goiter. The other type is if there is a lumpy enlargement of the gland, lump, bukol. That is what we call nodular, if there is only one bukol, or multinodular goiter kung maraming bukol. Ewan ko kung sa kaitiman itong nasa picture nakikita niyo yung bukol-bukol. Meron yan. So multinodular yan. Okay? So in both cases, whether it is diffuse, nodular, or multinodular, enlarged yung gland. Okay. This is now endemic goiter. Doon sa mga community, mga area na nasa matataas na lugar, na malayo ang access sa dagat, so kokonti ang access nila sa seafoods na maraming iodine. So makikita nyo dyan sa community na yan, halos lahat ng tao may goiter. Yan yung tinatawag nating endemic goiter, which is caused by iodine deficiency. Okay? Okay, now, this is the WHO classification or staging of goiter. Stage 0, so there is no goiter. The gland is not enlarged, it is not palpable, it is not visible. Pag sinabi natin kasing visible, it doesn't mean na makikita niyo yung thyroid. No. May makikita kayong enlargement at the anterior part of the neck. Okay? In stage 1A, the gland is palpable, nakakapana, but not visible even if the neck is fully extended. Okay? Nakatingala. Wala pa kayo nakikitang enlargement at the anterior part of the neck. In stage 1B, the gland is palpable and visible, but only when the neck is fully extended. So if the neck is in a normal position, wala pa kayo nakikitang enlargement at the anterior part of the neck. In stage 2, you do not have to palpate anymore because the enlargement is already visible at the anterior part of the neck even if it is in a normal position, but only when the patient is near the examiner. For the very large glands, yung mga nakita niyo sa picture kanina that are visible even if the patient is far from the examiner, that is already stage 3. So remember the WHO classification or staging of goiter. Okay? So ibig sabihin lang, pag may goiter, malaki yung gland. Pwede siyang hyperfunctioning, normally functioning, or hypofunctioning. Clear? Matanong ko lang kayo, curious lang ako, anong Tagalog sa goiter? Ikaw, Kat, alam mo? Goiter, anong Tagalog? Labas sa inyong taga Southern Luzon? Ay, walang may alam. Bosyo. Bosyo, pag malaki, yung nasa lieg, ay may bosyo, may goiter. Okay? Sige. Now we go to functional disorders. Hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism. Okay? Remember, nabanggit natin last meeting na kapag ang isang gland, ang activity niya regulated by the endocrine axis, may tatlong hierarchy. Primary, secondary, tertiary. Ganon din dito, di ba? Primary, if you have thyroid gland failure. Secondary, if the disorder is in the anterior pit. Tertiary, if the disorder is in the hypothalamus. At iba-iba ang hormonal pictures nila. Okay? So let us talk first about hypothyroidism. It simply means you have a hypofunctioning thyroid gland. So decrease ang activity ng thyroid, therefore, decrease ang secretion ng T3 and T4. Hypothyroidism is also referred to as mixed edema because the edema here is generalized. It is present all throughout the body, but most pronounced in the face, especially around the eyes. So what are the features of mixed edema or hypothyroidism? So this occurs after birth. The patient may develop a slow, husky voice, parang namamalat, tapos mabagal magsalita. Carotinemia, because carotene is not converted to vitamin A in the liver. Siyempre, low IQ. Mixed edema madness is a complication of prolonged untreated hypothyroidism. So may effect na sa behavior pag hindi nagagamot yung hypothyroidism. Hypercholesterolemia. Kasi di ba effect ng thyroid hormones, more of degradation than synthesis. Nag-decrease nga ang thyroid hormone. So hindi siya nadidegrade. Of course, low BMR. If the condition will occur during fetal life or immediately after birth, you produce a hypothyroid dwarf or cretin. The condition is called cretinism. So ano features? Physical and mental retardation, enlarged abdomen or pot bellies, enlarged tongue na hindi maipasok sa bibig, and usually the patient is also deaf and mute. So mas grabe actually yung hypothyroid dwarf sa pituitary dwarf. Okay? Other features: dry coarse hair, loss of eyebrow hair, puffiness of the face. Again, especially around the eyes. May picture tayo niyan mamaya. Pwedeng magkaroon ng goiter. So later on, titingnan natin kung saan present ang goiter in hypothyroidism. Primary, secondary, tertiary, all of the above, none of the above. Okay? Bradycardia, arthritis, cold intolerance, dry skin, easy fatigability. Bakit? Decrease ang protein metabolism, decrease ang what we call this protein synthesis at decrease ang metabolism. Makakalimutin, in females, irregular monthly cycles, you have weight gain, constipation, brittle nails. Okay, now, that is the type of edema present in hypothyroidism. What is shown here is only the lower extremities, but remember, mixed edema in hypothyroidism is present all throughout the body. So anong characteristics? Makapal yung skin. And usually, meron mga nodules whose borders are sharply demarcated. Okay? This is how a typical hypothyroid patient looks like. So namamanas, very dull expression on her face, walang kabuhay-buhay. Look at the puffiness around the eyes. And look at the cheeks, hindi yan rosy cheeks. Sobrang dry lang ng skin niya, kaya namumula-mula na siya. Okay? Ayan ulit. Dull expression on her face, puffiness around the eyes, tingnan niyo yung braso niya at yung dila niya, dry na dry. Now, this picture shows you hypothyroidism before and after treatment. On the left side is a typical hypothyroid patient before treatment. Again, dull expression on her face, puffiness in the face, especially around the eyes. 3 months after treatment with thyroid hormones, ayan na yung itsura ng pasyente. Kitang-kita yung pagbabago. There is weight loss. Nawala yung puffiness around the eyes. Nag-itsura siya more alert. So yan ngayon ang pagkakaiba ng hypothyroidism before and after treatment. Okay? This is another complication of prolonged untreated hypothyroidism. We call this mixed edema coma. So very obvious yung kanyang pamamanas. Bakit nag-coma? Too much depression of the CNS because thyroid hormones are needed to stimulate the activity of the brain. Okay? Okay, now, when we talk about causes of hypothyroidism, banggitin na rin natin kung that will cause primary, secondary, or tertiary hypothyroidism. Okay. Number 1 is iodine deficiency, which is the most common cause of endemic goiter. So what is this? Primary, secondary, tertiary? Anybody? Iodine deficiency, will it cause primary, secondary, tertiary hypothyroidism?
Primary po, Dok.
Primary kasi ang nawawala rito, synthesis mismo ng thyroid hormones. Bakit ngayon may goiter? Remember the axis. Pag nag-decrease ang T3 at T4, ano mangyayari? Mag-i-increase ang TRH, increase ang TSH. Dahil marami kang TSH, ma-stimulate ang growth ng thyroid gland. So may goiter. Only growth, hindi ang function. Okay? Increase intake of goitrogens. Now, goitrogens are chemical substances present in abundance in some types of food like cabbages and turnips. And these goitrogens can block thyroid hormone synthesis. So ano yan? Primary, secondary, tertiary?
Primary.
Primary pa rin. Thyroid cancer, syempre primary. So thyroid gland na mismo ang masisira. Same thing with thyroiditis. This is actually Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is an autoimmune disease. So the plasma cells in the body produce antibodies that destroy the thyroid tissue. Bakit late stage? Because during the early stage, as these antibodies destroy the thyroid tissue, nare-release yung stored thyroid hormones. So yung pasyente pwede pa mag-manifest ng hyperthyroidism. Pero pag na-release na yung stored thyroid hormones at nasisira na lalo yung thyroid tissue, magkakaroon na siya ngayon ng hypothyroidism. So this is again primary. Of course, if the hypothyroidism will result from a pituitary disorder, there is a tumor in the brain that compresses the pituitary gland. So there will be decreased TSH secretion. So magkakaroon ng secondary hypothyroidism. Another cause, post-thyroidectomy this time. The patient is previously hyperthyroid. Ang treatment na binigay sa kanya, thyroidectomy. Siyempre, pag tinanggal mo yung thyroid, that is primary hypothyroidism. Okay, post-radiation. Another treatment of hyperthyroidism is radiation therapy. Pag sumobra yan, itong radiation will destroy not only the hyper-functioning cells, but also the surrounding normally functioning cells, so that will decrease the function of the thyroid gland. Okay? Another one, again, a previously hyperthyroid patient taking anti-thyroid drugs. Pag sumobra yung anti-thyroid drugs, that will again depress the function of the thyroid gland. So itong post-thyroidectomy, post-radiation therapy, excess anti-thyroid drugs, anong pinapakita? A common complication of excessive treatment of hyperthyroidism is hypothyroidism. Okay? Okay, now this is the hormonal picture of primary hypo. The disorder is in the thyroid gland. So decrease ang T3 at T4. So magi-increase ang TRH. Therefore, magi-increase ang TSH. And that will cause the gland to enlarge. So that in primary hypothyroidism, you have goiter. But remember, itong TSH, ang pwede lang niyang increase yung size ng gland, hindi yung function. Kasi nga ang problema, nasa thyroid gland. Okay? If it is secondary, the problem is in the anterior pit. So decrease ang TSH. Therefore, walang mag-i-stimulate sa gland. So magdi-decrease ang size ng thyroid, pati ang kanyang function. Okay? So wala kang goiter pag secondary. Pag tertiary naman, hypothalamus. So decrease TRH, decrease TSH, wala uli mag-i-stimulate sa thyroid. So decrease ang T3 and T4, liliit uli ang gland. So that means in hypothyroidism, meron ka lang goiter if it is primary. Pag secondary and tertiary, walang goiter. Okay? Laboratory diagnosis. So the first thing that you will do is to determine serum-free, T3, T4, TSH. Okay? Another procedure that you can do this time to differentiate among primary, secondary, tertiary hypothyroidism is the TRH test or TRH challenge. Okay? So paano yan gagawin? So number one, you take the baseline, serum-free T4 and TSH, baseline. And then administer intravenously TRH. Saan nga ang action ng TRH? Anong target cell or target gland ng TRH? Section B.
Anterior.
Louder please.
Anterior.
Anterior pit. So once mag-administer ka intravenously ng TRH, ang obserbahan nyo, yung TSH. So pag nag-increase ang TSH, nag-respond ang anterior pit. Kung walang increase sa TSH, hindi nag-respond ang anterior pit. Okay? Okay, now, primary or thyroidal. Ang problema sa thyroid gland. So sa baseline, dapat mababa ang T4. Dahil mababa ang T4, walang negative feedback. Increase TLH, increase din ang TSH. When you administer TRH, will the anterior pit respond? Meron ka ng baseline. Magbigay ka ngayon ng TRH. Will the anterior pituitary gland respond?
Yes.
Ano yon? Pakilakas. Sino yung sumagot? Will the anterior pituitary gland respond to administered TRH? Section B. May sumagot na kanina, nawala pa.
Yes po, Dok.
Yes, kasi wala ka naman problema sa anterior pit. So, ano mangyayari sa TSH mo? Ayan na.
Increase.
Mag-i-increase. What will happen to T4 now?
Decrease pa din.
Mababa pa rin. Kasi nga ang problema mo, nasa thyroid. Okay. Secondary. So, ang problema, nasa anterior pit. So, ang unang bababa, TSH. Dahil mababa ang TSH, mababa rin ang T4. Ngayon, magbigay ka ng TRH. Will the anterior pituitary respond?
No po.
Hindi. So, ang TSH mo, mababa pa rin. What will happen to T4?
No pa rin po.
No change.
Mababa pa rin siya kasi wala mag-stimulate sa thyroid. Okay? If it is tertiary, the problem is in the hypothalamus. So, mababa ang TRH, therefore, mababa ang TSH, mababa rin ang T4. When you administer TRH, will the anterior pit respond?
Yes po. Yes.
Yes. So, tataas ang TSH. What will happen to T4?
Increase din po.
Asking.
Increase din. So again, by doing the TRH test or challenge, pwede mong ma-differentiate if the disorder is primary or thyroidal, secondary or pituitary, tertiary or hypothalamic. Okay? Now, the treatment for hypothyroidism is thyroid hormone therapy. Okay? If the condition is congenital or if it occurs immediately after birth, you have a congenital hypothyroid or cretin. So what are the most common causes of cretinism? Or by the way, rare muna. Number 1, congenital absence of the thyroid. Number 2, hypoplasia of the thyroid. So hindi nag-develop normally yung thyroid gland. A more common cause will be iodine deficiency on the part of the mother. Or the mother is hyperthyroid, receiving anti-thyroid drugs. Unknown to her, she's pregnant. And there are many anti-thyroid drugs that cross the placenta and that will depress the fetal thyroid. So nagkakaroon ng congenital hypothyroidism, although there are other anti-thyroid drugs that do not cross the placenta. Okay? Ito yung tsura ngayon ng hypothyroid dwarf. Tingnan nyo na lang yung nasa left lower. So, maiksi ang limbs, malaki ang tiyan, nakita niyo yung dila niya, hindi niya maipasok. Ito naman sa right, yung medyo nagkaedad na. Ganun pa rin yung itsura niya. Okay? Kaya nga kalimitan, ang tawag pituitary dwarf dahil proportional, beautiful dwarf. Ito dahil non-proportional, yan yung ugly dwarf. Okay? Okay, next. Hyperthyroidism. Ano munang pagkakaiba ng hyperthyroidism sa thyrotoxicosis? Yung hyperthyroidism simply means increased activity of the thyroid gland. So increased secretion of T3 and T4. If there is already manifestations of hyperthyroidism in the patient, you now call that thyrotoxicosis. Okay? Okay, features. Increased appetite. Wide or increased pulse pressure kasi increase ang systolic, decrease ang diastolic. Increase BMR, sabi ko kanina kasi increase ang heart rate, increase ang myocardial contractility, prone sa high output failure. Mixed edema here is confined in the anterior surface of the lower extremities. We call that pretibial mixed edema. in contrast to the mixed edema in hypo, which is generalized. Okay? Other features, hair loss, bulging eyes, or what we call exophthalmos. May pictures pa tayo niyan mamaya. Increased sweating. Titingnan uli natin kung saan merong goiter. Primary, secondary, tertiary, hyperthyroidism. Tachycardia, insomnia, heat intolerance, again, menstrual irregularities, easy fatigability, irritability, nervousness, payat kahit malakas kumain, diarrhea, warm moist palms, fine finger tremors, and again sa nails. Ngayon, that is exophthalmos. Okay? Anong pagkakaiba ng exophthalmos doon sa sadyang malaki ang mata? Siguro naman nakakita na kayo ng tao na malaki ang mata na hindi naman exophthalmos. Anong pagkakaiba niya? Anybody? Section B?
Naka-bulge po.
Naka-bulge, naka-protrude yung eyeball so that if you look at the picture, the sclera or the white of the eye, kitang-kita sa medial, sa lateral, sa taas, at sa baba. Okay? Kasi nakaluwa yung eyeball. Yung mga tao sadyang malaki ang mata, nakikita lang yung white of the eye sa gitna, sa lateral, hindi sa taas, hindi sa baba. Okay? Ayan, nakaluwa ang mata. But take note, ha? Exophthalmos, ang cause niyan autoimmunity din. Kaya it is present only in Graves' disease. It is not present in the other forms of hyperthyroidism. Okay? Dahil nakaluwa ang kanyang mata, pag natulog yan, hindi nag-close completely yung eyelids. So palaging naka-expose na dry ang conjunctiva, kaya prone niya sa infection, conjunctivitis. Okay? Ito na yung tinatawag nating pretibial mixed edema. Ang tawag din sa kanya para nakamedyas, nakasocks, kasi confined nga lang siya sa anterior surface of the lower extremities. That is onycholysis, separation of the nail from the nail beds. Okay? So ngayon, when we mention the causes of hyperthyroidism, irarank uli natin siya. Primary, secondary, tertiary. Madali yan kasi unang classification natin, thyroidal. So primary na itong mga to. And the most common cause of primary hyperthyroidism is an autoimmune disease. That is Graves' disease or exophthalmic goiter. Andiyan na sa pangalan, may exophthalmos, may goiter. Okay? Ngayon, the cause of this is production of antibodies, which we call TSI, or thyroid stimulating immunoglobulin. And this TSI functions just like TSH. They also bind with receptors in the follicular cells that bind TSH. So ngayon, ang function niya pareho sa TSH. Ano bang ginagawa ng TSH? It can stimulate growth of the gland as well as the activity of the gland. Kaya nga kung may TSI ka, may goiter, increase din ang secretion ng T3 at T4. Yun ang pagkakapareho nila. Anong pagkakaiba ngayon ng TSH sa TSI? Since TSH is a hormone, it is subject to a negative feedback effect if there is excess T3 and T4. In the case of TSI, it is an antibody. So it is not subject to a negative feedback effect kahit maraming T3 and T4. Kaya nangyayari dito, ini-stimulate ng TSI ang production ng T3 at T4. Pataas siya ng pataas. Pero walang negative feedback. So dadami pa uli ang TSI. So lalo niyang i-stimulate ang thyroid gland. Okay? Kaya ano mangyayari? Kung padami ng padami ang T3 at T4, ang negative feedback niya, TRH, TSH. So decrease ang TRH, decrease ang TSH. Pero malaki pa rin, hyperfunctioning pa rin ang gland dahil sa TSI. So you have goiter here in spite of a decrease in TSH. Okay? If there is a solitary toxic adenoma, we call that Plummer's disease. An adenoma is a hormone-secreting tumor which is usually benign. So present yung adenoma sa mga endocrine glands. If there is not just one bukol but marami, we call that multinodular goiter. At nabanggit ko kanina, early stage of Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is also an autoimmune disease. But remember, yung TSI, hindi siya yung antibody sa thyroiditis. Magkaiba ng antibody siya. Okay? Secondary or extrathyroidal, if there is a tumor in the anterior pit that will increase the size and activity of the thyrotropes. So mag-i-increase ang secretion ng TSH, and that will cause secondary or pituitary hyperthyroidism. Outside of the HH, thyroid gland axis, another extrathyroidal cause of hyperthyroidism is iatrogenic or factitious. Ano ba yan? May mga tao na normal naman ang thyroid gland, pero gusto nilang pumayat ng mabilis. Siguro tamad mag-diet, tamad mag-exercise, gusto papayat na lang basta. Iinom ng thyroid hormones. So bibilis ang metabolism, papayat sila agad. Ngayon, anong effect niyan? Pag umiinom ka ng exogenous thyroid hormones, may effect yan doon sa axis. Kasi mag-i-increase ang plasma T3 and T4, ma-inhibit ang TRH, ma-inhibit ang TSH, so yung mismong thyroid gland ng pasyente inhibited. Kaya ang production ng mismong thyroid hormones niya magdi-decrease eventually. Ganon din kasi pag androgenic hormones. Di ba gusto mag-develop ng muscle? So inom ng inom. Pati testosterone which is androgenic and anabolic, madidepress mismo yung axis. Kaya yung sariling production ng testosterone, sariling production ng androgen, nagdi-decrease. Okay? Rare cause ito, ectopic thyroid tissue. Okay, next. Hormonal picture. So if it is primary, ang problema sa thyroid gland. Increase T3 and T4, negative feedback. Decrease TRH, decrease TSH. Pero meron kang goiter. Sabi nga natin, if it is Graves, because of TSI. If it is nodular, syempre bukol, that is a type of goiter. Okay? Dito meron tayong dapat i-correct. Secondary is pituitary. So marami kang TSH, maraming T3 and T4. So may goiter din yan. Pero dapat decrease ang TRH. So may negative feedback ka sa hypothalamus, decrease ang TRH. That is secondary. Pag tertiary, dun sila mataas lahat. Kasi ang problema mo sa hypothalamus. Increase TRH, TSH, T3, and T4, again with goiter. So while in hypothyroidism, goiter is present only in primary. In hyperthyroidism, it is present in primary, secondary, tertiary. Okay? Next, laboratory diagnosis. Ano ba ang pwedeng gawin? Again, determination of free serum T3, T4, TSH. Another laboratory exam that you can do. So halimbawa, after physical examination, kapaka-paka, and then serum T3, T4, etc. Meron siyang malaki dito. Anong pwede mong gawin? So may enlargement at the anterior part of the neck. The first thing that you will do is ultrasound. That is to determine whether the enlargement is cystic or if it is a solid mass. Kasi kung cystic siya, ang laman niya fluid. So ang gagawin yung kasunod is aspiration biopsy. And usually benign yan. How about if the enlargement is a solid mass? Ang sunod yung gagawin, yung RAIU. Radioactive iodine uptake. So you administer intravenously radioactive iodine. After 6 hours and after 24 hours, magpapas ka ng scan. Parang camera, i-scan mo yung anterior part of the neck. Ngayon, doon sa film na makukuha nyo, andun yung itsura ng thyroid o kaya nung nodule, yung enlargement o yung mass. Ang titingnan lang nyo kung hot nodule or cold nodule. Pag hot nodule, doon sa film, it will appear darker than normal. Bakit siya dark? Kasi ibig sabihin, yung nodule na yan, increase ang iodine uptake. Yung in-administer nyo intravenously, marami siyang tinake up na iodine. So that means that nodule is hyperfunctioning. And most often, it is benign. Okay? Now, if the nodule will appear as a cold nodule, it is lighter in appearance, less yung kanyang iodine uptake, it is hypofunctioning. And most often, if it is a cold nodule, it is malignant. Okay? So yan yung dinidetermine sa paggawa ng RAIU. Okay, now, treatment. You start with anti-thyroid drugs, especially if the patient is young, if the disease is mild, or hindi naman ganun kalaki yung blood. It's small. Okay? And what are the different types of anti-thyroid drugs? We mentioned only 2 groups. Number 1 are the anions. Nitrate, thiocyanate, perchlorate. As mentioned earlier, these anions compete with iodides for binding with NIS. So that will block the first step in the biosynthesis of thyroid hormones, which is iodine uptake. Pero madalang na yan. Ang mas ginagamit yung second group that will comprise PTU or propyl thiouracil and methimazole. Propyl thiouracil, methimazole. Mechanism of action is to inhibit peroxidase. So inhibited the oxidation, organification, coupling. Okay? Another mode of treatment is radiation. Kaya lang sabi ko nga kanina, dapat maingat dyan. Kasi pag sumobra, nagkakaroon ng hypothyroidism. Kasi nasisira pati normally functioning cells. And you do not give radiation therapy if you have a pregnant patient or a patient with a cardiac condition. Okay? Third, surgery. So the procedure is thyroidectomy. So you remove a part of the thyroid, so that is subtotal. So you leave at least 5 grams of the thyroid gland if it is subtotal. Kailan yan gagawin? Kung may isa ka lang naman bukol, which is benign. But if it is diffuse or multinodular or may malignancy, you do total thyroidectomy. After doing total thyroidectomy, thyroid hormone therapy. Hindi pwedeng wala kasi kailangan ng katawan ang thyroid hormones. Kaya pag tinanggal mo yung gland, magbibigay ka ng thyroid hormone therapy after. Okay? But take note, you do not do surgery on a patient whose thyroid gland is hyperfunctioning. Kasi yan ay mag-i-stimulate ng tinatawag nating thyroid crisis or thyroid storm. Ano ba yon? Remember that surgery is a form of stress. And stress can stimulate the hypothalamus to secrete the RH and then masisecrete ang TSH, lalong maglalabas ng maraming thyroid hormones sa circulating blood. At kasabay ng paglabas ng maraming thyroid hormones, maglalabas din ng maraming catecholamines. So anong mangyayari during or immediately after? Aggravated, lalong-lalo ang cardiovascular system. So yung pasyente magdi-develop ng fever, nausea, vomiting, tachycardia, increased systolic pressure, etc. Yan yung tinatawag nating thyroid crisis or thyroid storm. Kasi ang mortality niya, 50%. So anong dapat gawin? Before you do surgery on the thyroid gland, you have to return the function of the gland at least to near normal. Kung hindi man normal talaga. Paano nyo pabababain yung function ng gland? You can give anti-thyroid drugs. Okay? Or number 2, excess iodides that will suppress the function of the gland. And to better prepare the patient, especially in a thyroid crisis wherein affected ang CVS, you give beta blockers. Okay? So any questions with the thyroid gland? Any questions, clarifications? Because that is the end of our lecture for the first session. Anything you want to clarify?
None po, Doc.
None. Okay. If there is none, so that is the end